If you dropped my grandparents in the woods, they'd survive for months. They'd fish, hunt, build shelter, make fire, and I just call it camping. If you drop millennials in the woods, we'd spend 10 minutes looking for LTE, 20 minutes panicking, and then we'll try to order groceries to the forest. Gen Z, they'd probably live stream it and try to monetize the experience. And it's not just the woods. Boomers born between 1946 and 1964 remember every phone number. Gen X, 1947 to 1980, remember most of them. Millennials, 81 to 96, remember none. Gen Z, 1997 to 2012, I think phone calls are just really, really uncomfortable. Somewhere between those generations, we've traded mechanical intuition for digital navigation. And it worked until AI got really, really good at the very thing we perfected. I'm Svetlana Makarova. I lead AI teams, build AI systems, advise organizations, and train executives. I'm also a doctorate student in applied AI. And no, I don't teach prompts. At this point, if someone else asks me about prompt engineering, I'm choosing the woods. Just me, the bears, and the bowl of porridge. So here's what's happening across every generation. People don't know what their job means anymore. They've lost the very thread for why their work matters. Imagine a director at a tech company who says, I used to solve real problems for real people. Now I orchestrate AI tools that generate reports that someone else summarizes with AI for projects nobody believes in, measured by metrics nobody understands. And this isn't isolated. Most employees feel their existing capabilities are being underutilized. According to this year's Oliver Wyman's research surveying 300,000 workers, the half-life of skills has collapsed from 10 years to less than 5. A third of job skills changed in just 3 years. And here's what nobody's talking about. We're confusing years of experience with actual experience. Let me show you what I mean. A doctor who was raised in poverty sees medication noncompliance in a patient's chart. AI recommends send, reminder, simplify, regimen, check, understanding. But he asks the patient instead, hey, what's going on at home financially? Because he knows that medication noncompliance sometimes means choosing between pills and groceries. AI sees a pattern, he sees the actual problem. That insight came from living, from watching his parents live in those circumstances and make those same exact choices. That's the power of lived experience. It's your ability to cut through noise, apply common sense, and use mental models that were built through your own personal experience. But not all experience is equal. I witnessed this firsthand during a company reorganization, where people loyal for 5, 10, 15 years got let go. Not because they weren't any good, but because they stopped growing years ago and nobody noticed until now. Those who kept learning, who took on challenging projects that scared them, they stayed, and some even got promoted. So here's the thing. Companies aren't assessing AI fluency. They're reevaluating skill sets, and the half-life of those skills keeps declining. So the question isn't, will AI take my job? The real question is, am I actively building experience or just passively accumulating years? Because AI can replicate 15 years of doing the same exact thing, treading the same waters, creating repetitive data that is primed for automation. AI cannot replicate 15 years of intentional growth across diverse and unexpected domains. So here's what's happening across generations. Gen Z adopted AI faster than anyone. They're the digital natives who should have the advantage. But they're trading so much to automation that they're skipping the iterations it takes to build the foundational experience that made previous generations so valuable. Boomers, nearly half stopped using AI at work almost entirely, according to that same research. And here's where it gets interesting. Research on software developers show that AI doesn't necessarily help experts, it slows them down. So picture a senior developer in the flow. He sees a problem and knows the solution, but delegates to AI. So now you're sitting there reading AI code like it's IKEA instructions that got translated from Swedish to Japanese to English, then back to Swedish, then English again. And you're sitting there thinking, that must be a chair. No, that's a shelf. The piece is left and I don't know why. Could have solved it in 10 minutes. But instead, the solution got lost in translation. For experts, AI creates friction instead of flow. But for novices, AI gives them speed without wisdom because they haven't built the foundations yet. So boomers opting out might be wisdom, not resistance. Gen X and millennials are stuck in the middle trying to figure out where to delegate and where to deepen. The answer is you need both. Domain expertise that comes from lived time. That is what builds resilience. So how do we actually build it? That doctor connecting his childhood experience of living in poverty with medical knowledge, that's synthesis. Your unique combination of context created a lens through life that nobody else has. Here's how you build it. First, use first principles thinking. Break down problems down to their fundamental truths. When you get an answer, ask, why does that work? Could I rebuild it from scratch? Without it, you're just repeating what AI already knows. Second, protect time for productive struggle. Post-it notes. The guy tried to make super glue, made the world's worst glue. Billion-dollar product. Penicillin. A scientist forgot to clean his lab. Changed medicine forever. Microwave ovens. A chocolate bar melted in this guy's pocket and he said, I could cook with this. Terrible, terrible at following protocols, but their failures changed the world. Skip the struggle and you skip the growth. Third, build mental models. Experts have frameworks for how things work. Seek out people who've been doing your work for years. Ask them how they think. Test their models. Apply them. Otherwise, you're just mimicking. Fourth, go deep before you go wide. Pick just one domain and commit it to mastery. Spend time with the fundamentals everyone else is skipping. Because everything that's on the surface level, AI has it covered. Fifth, teach what you're learning. I've trained hundreds of professionals on AI. Teaching forced me to learn the fundamentals significantly deeper. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it deeply enough. Just find someone to mentor. Teaching is where your real learning begins. So here's the pattern in all of this. Build your foundations through struggle. Let the tools handle what you've already mastered. The type of experience you need to be irreplaceable isn't about how many years you've been working. It's about how actively you've been building the foundational skills that compound value over time. So boomers, transfer that pattern recognition you've built. Gen X, document those mental models you've earned. Millennials, go deep before you go wide. Gen Z, build those foundations before you automate. You don't need permission to build this. You just need to stop delegating your growth and start protecting the struggle that makes you irreplaceable. Your move. Oh, and P.S., if you see me out in the woods later, looking stressed, don't mind me. It's what I do when people ask me about prompting. Thank you.